The ocean really doesn't care where you came from. It just doesn't.
Right, it's completely indifferent.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't care if you grew up in some crowded, noisy city apartment or, out on a quiet dirt road in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't care about your bank account or your family name. It's really the ultimate equalizer.
No, absolutely. Because when the pressure rises out there and things inevitably go wrong.
That's right. When the systems fail.
Yeah. The ocean only asks you one single question. Who will you become?
And that is such a heavy question, right? Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. Our mission today is to really unpack this fascinating source material we have called Commanding the Depths, the Making of a Navy Officer.
And we are really getting into the weeds on this one.
We are. We designed this deep dive specifically for you, the listener, so we could extract this hidden anatomy of leadership and emotional transformation. So whether you're getting ready to lead a corporate team, or you just love military history, or maybe you're just fascinated by human potential, there is something huge in here for you.
Just to set expectations up front, though, this is not, some Hollywood action movie breakdown.
Right, no explosions today.
Exactly, no dramatic movie speeches. The reality of this journey going from this insecure, drifting teenager to a military leader holding national security in their hands, it's raw, it's granular, it's about systemic humility and resilience.
Okay, let's unpack this, because we really need to start at the very beginning to see who actually takes this kind of leap. And looking at the source, it doesn't usually start with some grand, 10-year master plan.
No, not at all. It starts way smaller than that.
Right. It's just a feeling. Like maybe they were sitting in the bleachers in a football game and some fighter jets flew over.
Yeah.
Or they were up at 2 a.m. watching a documentary. It's not a spreadsheet. It's just this really profound internal choice to, as the text says, stop drifting.
Yeah, it's that sudden realization that they need a heavier anchor in life. But that actually brings up a huge myth about military service, which is that we all assume they're just scanning the country for these flawless alpha personalities.
I'm stuck on this, to be honest, because that Top Gun stereotype tells us exactly that, right? We all picture these arrogant, invincible kids walking in like they own the place.
That's the Hollywood version, yeah.
But the sources explicitly say the Navy is actively looking for average students, shy kids, people with zero money. If they are bringing in people who have struggled, aren't they putting billion-dollar warships at risk? Like, how does that even make sense?
Well, it makes sense when you look at how brittle perfection actually is. I mean, think about a golden child who has never failed a test, never really been pushed.
Oh, right. They've always had the answer.
Exactly. They are incredibly fragile because the second the environment throws chaos at them and they can't solve it, their ego just shatters. The Navy doesn't want flawless. They want people with iterative resilience.
Iterative resilience. I love that.
Yeah. They want the scrapper, the kid who knows exactly what it feels like to fail, be totally embarrassed, and then figure out how to wake up and try again anyway.
It's like launching a tech startup, honestly. You do not need the perfect, shiny product on day one.
Right. If it's perfect, you waited too long.
Exactly. You just need a founder who is willing to ruthlessly iterate and fix things when the servers crash. The value is in the iteration, not the starting point.
And in the military, that iteration is how they build discipline. They take someone who knows how to struggle and they slowly crank up the pressure. Over time, that forced habit of discipline literally becomes their identity.
But if iterative resilience is what they want, how do they actually pressure test that before, handing them the keys to a nuclear submarine? Because the timeline here is crazy fast.
Oh, it's brutally compressed.
Yeah. The text mentions 3 paths: the Naval Academy ROTC and Officer Candidate School, or OCS. And OCS is highlighted as just the absolute hardest path because of the speed.
Right, because at the academy, you get 4 whole years to absorb the culture. OCS gives you, 12 weeks?
12 weeks.
It is remarkably fast. And the whole point of OCS is to hunt down and exploit every single psychological weakness you have all at once.
And the imagery from the source on this is just wild. It's not just jogging around a track. There's this one specific drill where candidates have to stand out in the freezing mud, holding these massive, soaking wet mooring lines over their heads for just a ridiculous amount of time.
While their muscles are literally giving out.
Yeah, they're violently shaking. And while this is happening, the instructors are an inch from their faces, screaming at them to recite these complex emergency ship handling procedures word for word.
What's fascinating here is the underlying neurology of that exact moment, because we look at that and think, oh, the physical pain is the test, but it's not.
It's not.
No, the exhaustion is just a mechanical tool. They use it to bypass the prefrontal cortex entirely.
Oh, okay. Because the prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that handles like social behavior and projecting confidence, right?
Exactly. When you're rested and fed, your prefrontal cortex is totally online. It's super easy to fake being a leader. You just stand up straight and say the right buzzwords.
Anyone can do that on a good day.
Right. But when your muscles are failing under a wet rope and you haven't slept and your brain is just scrambling to remember some damage control schematic while a guy screams at you,
Your brain just can't keep the mask up.
it shuts the prefrontal cortex down to save energy. All pretense is gone. Your limbic system takes over, and your true fight-or-flight character is just exposed for everyone to see.
Wow, so it literally forces the truth to the surface. It separates them into these two distinct camps. You get the ones who, when the mask falls, they start blaming others or they just mentally quit.
Yeah, they just fold.
But then there's this other group, the ones who dig into that absolute exhaustion and find some hidden reserve of strength they didn't even know they had.
Because there's this huge psychological pivot happening in that mud. Most of us spend our whole lives trying to avoid discomfort.
Oh, 100%. I love my comfort.
Same. But these candidates are being forced to take that discomfort and actually use it as fuel.
There is this one quote from the reading that really nails this. It says, "You stop asking if you'll survive it. You realize you're becoming stronger because of it. You stop being a victim and become an active participant in the transformation."
That is the exact second the drifting teenager dies and the officer is born. But, surviving a breakdown at training is just step one.
Right, because how does that help you run a combat system in the Pacific? We have to look at how this translates to the actual fleet, because real leadership out there is the total opposite of what we see in the movies. It is very rarely loud or dramatic.
Hollywood loves the guy standing on the bow, shouting orders into the wind.
Totally. But the source describes this idea of systemic humility. The reality is so quiet and technical. The book gives this amazing anecdote about a junior officer running the radar during a pitch-black night transit.
Oh, the relative motion intercept story.
Yes. This officer does the math wrong on how fast another ship is approaching. They realize they messed up, and the ship is way closer to danger than they just told the captain. Now they have a choice. Keep quiet, try to fix it, and protect their ego.
Which is what a lot of people would do.
Exactly. But instead, this 23-year-old loudly interrupts the captain in front of the whole bridge watch team to announce their own mathematical failure.
Which takes a massive amount of vulnerability, especially when you're standing next to enlisted sailors who have been doing this for 20 years.
Oh, the embarrassment would be intense. But that public admission is exactly how trust is built. The captain instantly knows this kid cares more about the ship's safety than looking smart.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because the way this is described, leading on a ship is much more like being a master gardener than being a dictator.
A gardener, okay, I like that.
Yeah, because you can't just scream at a plant to make it grow faster. You can't threaten a seed with a bad performance review.
Right, that just doesn't work.
You have to quietly cultivate the environment, pull the weeds, check the soil, day in and day out. It's super unglamorous, patient work.
And that gets to the core of military rank. Sure, the officer has the gold bar. The sailors legally have to follow orders, but sailors only actually follow officers they respect. True authority isn't just handed to you at graduation. It's a currency you earn every single day through humility.
And those early days are just a massive slice of humble pie. A junior officer survives their first ship so slowly. They spend months just learning procedures, trying to not be a liability to the crew.
Yeah, just trying to stay out of the way. But slowly, they become someone the entire crew depends on. But if the day-to-day is that quiet and requires that much patience, we really have to look at the environment too, because the ocean is just a punishing place to exist.
Oh, it really is.
The sources don't sugarcoat deployment at all. We are talking 6-9 months at sea, missing holidays, missing your kids being born, and this very acute digital isolation.
That part was really striking to me.
Yeah. Staring at a computer screen out in the middle of the dark ocean, looking at photos of your family, just agonizing over what you're missing back home. It's heavy.
It's an incredible toll. But before they ever deploy, they have this anchor set to hold them through it, the commissioning ceremony where they take the oath.
Right.
It's super emotional because the families in the crowd are looking at this polished officer, but they're remembering the messy teenager who slept until noon.
And the oath itself is so different from, say, signing a corporate contract.
Yeah.
You aren't swearing to maximize profits for a CEO. You are swearing an oath to the Constitution and to this crushing level of responsibility.
And that matters so much because once that oath is done, you are thrown straight into the 2.0 AM reality.
The 2.0 AM reality, a source outlines this and it honestly gave me chills. Picture this. You're transiting the Strait of Hormuz on a destroyer. It is 2.00 AM. It's pitch black. The radar is just swarming with small boats. The red tactical lights are on.
And you're what, 24 years old?
24. And you are entirely responsible for the navigation. You hold the lives of 300 sleeping sailors in your hands, and one bad math problem could cause a major geopolitical incident.
The pressure just forces you to mature instantly.
Which leads me to a really critical question, because I have to challenge this a bit. How is it humanly possible to function with that much pressure at 2 AM? Especially since the source admits the fear never actually goes away.
Yeah, the fear is always there.
So if your brain is screening danger, how do you mathematically plot a radar intercept without your hand shaking so badly you drop your pencil?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to talk about the psychology of purpose-driven endurance. The military doesn't try to make you fearless. Fear is biological, it's going to happen.
Right, you can't just turn it off.
But purpose acts as a psychological override. When you share this immense hardship with your crew, your actions are tied to something bigger than yourself. Your brain actually shifts focus from, I need to survive, to we need to survive.
So they aren't pushing through the fear just because someone told them to.
No, they do it because the guy standing next to them needs them to. You know, a comfortable life on a couch in a climate-controlled room is never going to give you that kind of deep neurological meaning.
And we should be totally transparent here. The sources admit not everyone makes it. People quit at OCS. Junior officers resign early because the isolation or the humility is just too much.
But that attrition isn't a flaw. It's a load-bearing pillar of the whole culture.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, the fact that it's so hard and that people they respected couldn't finish it, that is exactly what makes it meaningful for those who stay. It wouldn't carry the weight of national security if everybody passed.
That brings this deep dive right back to you, the listener.
Yeah.
Because there are huge mental models here, even if you never wear a uniform. The first takeaway is iterative resilience. You don't need your whole life figured out today.
You really don't. You just need to stop drifting and start failing forward.
Exactly. And leadership isn't magic. It's built daily through systemic humility. It's how you handle your mistakes publicly and, crucially, how you choose to leverage discomfort instead of running away from it.
And becoming a leader isn't about power or status. Yes, the uniform matters, the ships are amazing, but the ultimate goal is discovering the strongest version of yourself by subverting your ego to serve others.
So what does this all mean?
This raises an important question.
We've talked all about how exhaustion and intense pressure are the true mechanisms that reveal your underlying character. So for you listening, what is the ocean in your own life right now?
Yeah, what's that challenge you're facing?
Exactly. What current hardship or discomfort are you desperately trying to avoid that might actually be the exact crucible needed to forge your own capacity to lead?
That is something to really sit with and think about as you navigate your own journey. Thank you so much for joining us as we explored Commanding the Depths.
It has been a total privilege to unpack this with you all. Until next time, keep diving deep.